environmental. So we kind of do, quite a few different things. Not only do we do tree work, but we also plant trees. We also go down to the bay and help out down there. So we do quite a few various things. So what we try to do is, if we take one down, we try to plant one, which is important because we can't lose too many of our trees. One thing that I can say is that I've been doing tree work for 20 plus years. Long as some of you all have been alive. I've had the opportunity to take down some of the bigger trees in the state. I've had the opportunity to work with some of the greatest climbers out there, some of the greatest equipment out there, not so good equipment. I've been very fortunate to have had some injuries, falling out of a tree 60 feet and live to tell about it. Don't want to have a replay of that, but I've been fortunate enough to still have all my fingers and toes. There are some people that I know that don't. So what the companies have done now is focused a lot on safety, which is important because all accidents are preventable. Believe it or not, all accidents are preventable as long as you take the time to know your surroundings and know about a lot of
you're messing with.
Exactly, and some of the accidents that could happen. So we do wear a lot of safety equipment, chaps, hard hats, fluorescent colors, eye protection, ear protection. Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone ever died doing this?
Yes, ma'am.
I had a very close friend that touched 33,000 volt wires and died instantly, and it was not a pretty sight to have to go and get him. And I cried just immensely. I've seen people fall out of bucket trucks. I've seen people fall to their death.
Power lines.
There was recently people that have been drawn through a chipper. That's not a pretty sight.
There was a father with his son that was out doing tree work. The son was the climber, and the son was in a bucket truck taking a tree down, and came in contact with power lines. There's nothing you can do once somebody is on power lines. You basically can't really do anything for them until they break contact with the line or the power gets shut off. This guy had to watch his son, that's how.
And they're gone.
Yeah, it's a terrible sight. The smell is awful. And you know what? I have seen it. I can tell you that it's not a pretty sight. That is not. What I love about this?
Everything.
Oh my God! Just to be up there. It's my sanity. It's my sanity. Believe it or not, it's my sanity. I like just being able to be up there and to watch an owl dive by you. We see red-tailed hawks fly by you. To see squirrels interact. Oh my gosh, that's great. Did y'all know that raccoons bark? Y'all didn't even know that, did you?
Yeah.
Raccoons actually bark.
So do squirrels. They make a
to
heck of a
protect
noise.
their family. And I've had a raccoon in a hole. I've actually tasted some of the best honey in the world from honeycombs out of just regular oak trees, ripping pieces. Well, I paid the price for it.
Yes.
It stung. But I'm gonna tell you right now, some of the sweetest and best honey in the world, right here out of oak trees, and and trees that I've been able to see. I've actually raised raccoons. I've raised flying squirrels. My kids have played with them. We've had them nibble on our ear to wake us up to eat, and they wash their food. These are things that I enjoy. I love nature. I love being outside. I think it's better than.
It's the only kind of job you get to enjoy.
Oh my gosh!
The weather all year round.
All year round. We use our upper body strength to get around in trees. something I touched on earlier is in the state of Maryland, we're allowed to wear hooks only if we're taking a tree down. A lot of times the other way we climb trees is basically with our hands, feet, and a saddle that we have over here. We use certain type of ropes, similar to what rock climbers use.
Could you explain when you're talking about hooks? What are you
I
talking
think
about?
I have a pair on the truck.
Does it make a hole or something in the tree?
Yes, it
Yes, it
basically it goes on your foot, and it's just a metal thing, comes up like about halfway up your leg, and then there's a metal gaff that comes off the inside of your foot and goes into the tree.
So
Basically,
you're climbing to keep
yes,
you
you're
going.
kicking like that, and you can basically walk right up the tree. You don't wear them when you're pruning a tree, basically, because you're putting holes in the tree. You're hurting the tree, essentially.
We were just talking about some diseases. Why do you think they wouldn't want to put holes in the tree with their feet?
Ruin it.
Say again?
What were you saying?
Start forming all the knots.
Well,
More than knots. Think
Get
about
inside of the tree.
yeah, diseases you could get inside the tree. There
Basically,
aren't.
bark,
it's like
the
a
bark
needle.
is essentially the, like your skin,
skin.
basically. And if you take your skin off, you're prone to infection. It's a flesh, open wound, prone to infection. It's the same thing that goes for a tree. You can cut a tree, and it can get an infection, and it can end up killing the tree.
Yep. So we basically we cannot hook live trees. It's just, basically it's like sharing a needle with a different
We
tree.
also have cool things like this.
There you go.
Right here, this, if you can't get to where you need to be, you take this thing, you throw it up in the tree, it lands where you want it, then you take this off and you run your rope up through there. Now your line's set up in the top of the tree. You don't have to worry about falling down because you're tied in.
Anybody been in the Boy Scouts? Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts? Anything?
No?
No?
Really?
Really? Man,
Yes,
I was in a
that's-
Boy Scout. You were a Girl Scout? You were also? Did y'all have to learn how to tie knots? No? Y'all didn't have
Really?
like a knot tying passing class? Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, I mean, a lot of if you were in the Boy Scouts, which I was, we had to learn how to like tie knots. That was like one of our big things to do is
Fun
to tie
things,
knots.
you got badges. and
Yeah, I
stuff
got
like that
badges. I did get badges for that. Yeah. But no, we have various knots that we can use, and a lot of our knots never get tight. And that's
They're
the
called
main
hitches.
thing. Right. So because we use rope so much, we don't want them to get tight. If they get tight, we can't untie them. So what he's putting on is a saddle. And we use these saddles throughout the day. It could be a long day. You want a very comfortable saddle. There's like different carabiners he uses.
stuff. So many different types of saddles.
Yes, Lord. And a lot of them nowadays are more in lines with and more in lines with rock climbing. They support your thighs. They support your
Back.
hips, your back. My saddle that I have on has a large back brace. I'm prone to taking like down bigger trees, and I have to have a little bit more support along my back. We're taught never to tie into anything that's smaller than our wrist. So imagine being tied 120 feet, and if everybody just pulls one sleeve up, just pull one sleeve up, and just imagine your wrist. You should never tie anything into anything smaller than your wrist. So imagine being tied 120 feet up in the air around something a little bit larger than your wrist.
Still terrifying.
Yeah. Well, and understandable. How about this? I can't stand ladders. If you get me on the top of an 8-foot ladder, I'll pass out. I'll pass out. But you get me at 120 feet in the air, and I feel like I'm walking on the ground.
This is why.
Right. That too. You know.
A ladder, you don't have anything that's going to keep you from falling. He was talking earlier about how we tie knots and everything. Basically, if you tie a knot in your climbing system, you're not going to go anywhere. What we climb on is friction hitches, which would be this right here. This allows, see how I'm pulling on it? It stops. But if I go like this, it releases it. That's the only thing that keeps you up. Now, if this was a knot, This is good. I'm going nowhere. I'm gonna be stuck here. A hitch is what's the correct term for a hitch? It's a sliding.
It's a sliding.
I can't.
Friction device.
Yeah, sliding friction. Something. I don't know. Something like that. But anyway, like I was saying, the knots.
And it's all in body weight too. It's all in our body weight. Like some people will use a 4-in-hand, or they call it 2 under, 2 over, barrel knot. I typically
Blake's hitch.
Right. I typically use a 2 under, 1 over. I'm very light. There's other people that use a 2 over, 2 under, and it's a barrel knot.
But see, that's a different kind of thing too, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean,
And he's and so that you know, the differences are. He's doing tree work after I've done it. When I started doing
New
tree
school.
work, yeah, this is new school. I'm old school. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. that's how I. But don't get me wrong. A lot of the newer things that they have out,
these
I use
split tail
like
systems.
like the pulley I use. I think it's great. You can just one-handed pull on your rope and it slides the knot up for you instead of having to use 2 hands to pull the knot up. Any questions? Anybody? Come on, questions. Come on. Yes, ma'am.
Are any of the knots that you similar to what you were saying?
You can. Some of the knots that
Yes,
you do
clove
use.
hitch.
Yeah, clove hitch.
Clove hitch, a sheep spin.
Sheep spin.
We use. There's actually a luring device in sailing that we use.
Yeah.
It's a
Hobbs device.
It's a Hobbs, but it's a different one that's hanging that off your saddle. That actually,
size of this guy.
right? That is some weight, and if it's hanging there, it's pretty heavy.
How much does that weigh?
The saw's probably about 40 pounds.
That's a lot to hang on your hip.
Yes, it is.
Ready?
And you normally hang them right from
you
here
gotta
on these
imagine
accessory
that
carabiners, and having something
Yeah.
45 pounds hanging from your side,
So
it
that's pretty heavy.
gets
right?
it bothers
And then
you a
there's
little bit
ones that are a
sometimes.
little bit heavier than this. They got one called an
088. It's got a 6-foot bar on it. The
Oh,
bar on
yeah.
it, the bar is
yeah.
as tall as I am. The body of the saw is, it's probably about that big.
Got it? And it has a chain brake on it too. So if the saw is actually running, it could actually, this is the tip, and if you hit something, it could kick back, and what happens is it actually locks out, and that stops the chain from moving.
Now, if you're like 6
Got it?
feet up in the tree, what happens when the chain comes loose?
You have to send it back down and have your ground guys do it.
Yeah,
Is
you
there a way
send
to
it
put
back down.
down or you just
Yeah, you tie it onto a
Tie it
rope,
onto a rope.
lower it down,
Lower it
and then
down.
you have to pull it all the way back up.
They open.
Yeah, watch your legs, bud.
Yeah, you got shorts on. I'm gonna bring it back here, guys. Yeah, right? So imagine I weigh 140 pounds, and I'm holding a 40-pound, 50-pound saw off the end of my saddle. It's not fun, and if you've got to typically you're only making a couple cuts.
Normally we use these.
Right.
These are everyday climbing chainsaws.
Right.
But when you're doing a takedown, you need a bigger saw. Obviously, you have to have
There you go.
the bigger saws.
Right.
But compare the weight for that thing compared to this. I mean, this thing is like nothing. You want to
Yeah. You like that?
That is really scary to be up in a tree with that saw.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
There you go. There you go, T. Yeah, how you like that?
Down on the ground.
It's nice, right? So imagine this
I don't
one
know
compared
about
to
being
that.
up there.
And see, the Chainsaw Massacre stuff, that's kind of ridiculous because these chains, if you take this chain and put it right into the ground, it's going to be dull. You wouldn't be able to cut a tree down with it once you hit the dirt. So you know how that guy is standing on top of that van, cutting through the top of the vehicle? That would never happen. Not with one of these saws. Well, these chains, they're strong metal, but
They're
once
not
you put
for
it in the
metal.
dirt,
Right.
it takes the edge right off of it.
This is more for wood.
For wood.
And but don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have a scar on my thigh that lets you know how sharp a chainsaw really is, and it's nothing nice because they don't cut straight. They don't cut clean. So it's a jagged, rough edge that's being put back together, and it's nothing nice. We do use a handsaw.
These
And
is
those
where
probably
you get
do more damage.
most of your lacerations.
Yes.
I've been climbing for 3 years. Not cut myself with the chainsaw yet, but I've cut myself 3 or 4 times with this thing to where I need stitches.
And we use it a lot, believe it or not. That's almost like, for me, it's almost like, you know, an extension ladder. Because being as short as I am, sometimes the rope will get out there where I can't reach it. If some of the guys are trying to get me the rope back, I'll just actually take the handsaw out there. It'll actually grab it, and I'll be able to pull it back. So here's the other thing. We do have a pole saw. A lot of these pole saws are made out of balsa wood or lindens, little leaf lindens. They're very, very light. And what we'll do is we'll actually attach the rope to the hook. And if it's a crotch we can't reach, we'll just take it up there, put it in the crotch, drop it in, and then secure ourselves, and then we're in. But then if that rope is way out there, I can't reach out there and grab it and pull it back into myself. And then I could tie it in or tie it onto something. We never try to hang these above us. I've seen too many people hang it above them.
I got
by
scars from
accident,
that.
and you know, they don't even know that they're cut. I've seen quite a few people open up their arms, open up their forearms, open up their backs, and all they feel like is something like a limb hit them, and they'll just keep working, and then realize there's blood on the limb next to them.
They're so sharp, it just, I mean, it cuts right through you.
So hence why we talk about safety a lot. We try to hang it below our feet, so if we do bump it, it'll fall below us. It'll never be above us. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So what we'll do is
This is very sharp.
we'll take it and hang it up on a limb right above us so that it's up there, and then we'll go about working. We may knock it, bump it, and it'll fall out. And if it does, sometimes it'll spin this way, and if it doesn't, if it touches you on the way back, it's quick. It's very quick. It's very sharp. There is an actual, believe it or not, back in the day, when I started doing tree work, we used to paint our wounds. The reason why this hole is here is to
Paintbrush.
put a paintbrush in it. And it was made to paint wounds. Back in the day, we used to actually paint wounds on the tree because we were told that
It helped keep the bugs
heal
out
it,
of it.
keeps the bugs out, keeps the water out, things like that. Then we found out that was the
doing
wrong
more,
thing to do. It
doing
was
more damage than it was any good.
Absolutely. So we stopped painting wounds.
But yet
They
they still
thought you
have
were
they
talking
haven't
about
gotten
your
rid of
own
the thing
wounds.
yet.
You're right. They're talking about my take the
It's on the,
paintbrush out
when you
there.
cut the tree
Yep.
limb, you paint
Yep.
it.
We would actually paint it, and then back then also we were also spray the pole saw with Lysol or some type of alcohol and water to not spread any diseases. So we now if you can't put your hand on it, we don't cut it. Can't put a rope on it, we don't cut it. Yes, sir.
Do you guys have anything you put on, like, an open wound to help heal it faster?
No.
Nope, not nowadays.
It's proven now that just to leave it and let the tree compartmentalize itself, that's the best way to do it.
This is being operated by remote control.